Hello friends, so today's video is going to be a book haul, specifically a birthday book haul because as you would expect, it was my birthday recently and I splurged and I got a bunch of books. So I have some books here, I have some books on the floor next to me, and there's a lot of them, so I'm just gonna jump into it. The first 5 books are all book of the month books because I am working with book of the month for today's video, and it's really exciting because I, as a lot of you know, try to cover as many new releases as I can, and there's one that has popped up multiple times on anticipated releases and my new Voices in Fantasy video I did that was specifically highlighting some Orbit book releases, and I'm so excited because one of those books ended up being one of the books from Book of the Month. I'll talk about the books here a little bit more in just a second. I think most of you know Book of the Month is an online book subscription service where now they have 5 to 7 different picks from month to month, so sometimes they have even more because they try to always make sure that there's something for everyone. They have a variety of genres. They have sometimes returning authors, debut authors. They're a really affordable price as well. You always get a brand new hardcover. And if you see more than one book you're interested in, you can also do add-ons, so you can actually get up to 3 different books in a month. Add-ons can actually be from a lot of their backlog as well, so it's really nice. So if you join now, you do have access to some of their books from before. But sticking with the ones that we have for this particular month, we have The Good Left Undone, Like a Hug from Your Favorite Aunt. This moving and wise World War II epic will remind you what life's all about. I mentioned being excited for the fantasy Kai Kai, which is a debut. In this epic tale that pulls heartstrings, Kai Kai fights for her place in history. We also have a narrative nonfiction called Bittersweet. Ever cried during a commercial or listened to Joni Mitchell curled up on the floor? This insightful book is for you. We also have a mystery called Like a Sister. Sometimes a sibling just knows. When her estranged sister dies under weird circumstances, Lena Scott gets on the case. We have a literary fiction pick called True Biz. What's realer than real? This witty and life-affirming novel gives us the true biz around a school for the deaf. A big thank you to Book of the Month for working with me on today's video. But anyway, jumping into some other books that I've gotten specifically for my birthday recently. One of them, it's a manga, and I was at the bookstore. I was actually looking for something else, and I saw this, and I was with my husband, Sean, and I was like, what is this? And he looked at it, and he's like, that looks amazing. And then so we immediately had to see what the synopsis was, and then the synopsis also seemed amazing, and I'm really excited. We're both really excited to read this because it looks so fun. So the name of it, I've really hyped it up. It's Hard-Boiled Stories from the Cat Bar, and it has this super grizzled looking man and then a cat just hanging out on his arm. And the synopsis, tell me this doesn't sound like the greatest story of all time. It just starts with the familiar scents of gunpowder and kitty litter, ... That's the top of it. And I guess the premise is that there are hardened men that when they're looking for a haven, they go to Kitty and Me, which is a bar where there's only one rule. When inside, do not dare harm the cats that call it home. And our main character, known as the Undertaker, who goes to this place, and then I guess we're following him as he has a new target. It sounds like the most bizarre, charming, hilarious story, and I'm really excited to read this one, hopefully very soon, and then I can let you know all about it. If you have read this, let me know your thoughts. It sounds fantastic. Also, sticking with something that is a little bit different from what I typically cover on my channel, and feel free to make fun of me, I don't care. So there's a few things I bought online, and when I went to purchase some things online, Barnes & Noble recommended at the top, there's like a banner where it goes through various recommendations. So it'll be like top, nonfiction, and then check out our book talk picks. And then one of the things that popped up was kids books, and they had an ad for a book, and I'm like, what's that? And I clicked on it, and I just couldn't get over how adorable it was. So I bought it. I bought a children's picture book for myself for my birthday. And it was totally worth it, and it's called Night Owl. I showed it to my patrons, and I just can't get over how cute it is. It's about this little owl who really wants to be a knight, and he wants to work the night shift, where he's a knight and he works at night. And the artwork is really pretty on the inside too, and it's so cute. I already read it. It took 2 minutes basically to read through it. But the artwork is really good. The person who wrote the story also illustrated it as well. And if you have a little kiddo, or if you're an adult like me who likes to just look at cute stuff, then I highly recommend this. It's precious. I don't know if I can show you the artwork on the inside, but I'll show you the cover as close as I can. It's precious. And the details in the background, in the illustrations on the inside, it's just delightful. And it made me very happy. When I got it, I was like, yay! And then I immediately read it. The next few books, it's kind of a specific theme, which is book talk books. I asked a bunch of people over on my Instagram, what do you think are the cons of book talk? And I'm thinking about maybe doing a discussion video on that. The pros are very obvious. A lot of people are getting back into reading or are getting into reading because of book talk. It's a lot of exposure for a lot of authors, but there are some things that, just like no matter what you're looking at, there are going to be some cons too. And so I'd ask some of you what you thought the cons were. And I wanted to do a discussion video on that, but I also thought, so that we're not just focusing on the negative, maybe I would also do a reading vlog, or at the very least do some themed book talk reading and then talk about it in a wrap up. We'll see. But I bought a few different books. Some of these I've been interested in anyway. So the first one would be Song of Achilles. I didn't think that I would particularly enjoy a lot of these mythology stories that we've been seeing pop up a lot more in publishing. But to be honest, the ones I have picked up I've quite liked. And so I think this trend sort of, I don't want to say it started because of this author, but I do think it took off because of this and Circe. So I'd like to check these out. I've seen so many good things. The hype is over the moon for these particular books, this one and Circe. So I'd like to pick this one up. I also got Kingdom of the Wicked. I think this is going to be very different from Song of Achilles. There's another one I got that is a Persephone and Hades story. And it was funny because I just saw it at my local bookstore and it was like, as seen on Book Talk, something like that. And then I didn't realize until I happened to be at Barnes & Noble and I saw a spicy talk table and the Hades and Persephone one was on that. And I'm like, oh, I guess I'm going to be reading a spicy book. Kingdom of the Wicked is, I believe, a YA book, so I don't think it's going to be quite as spicy. But it'll be very interesting to see from book to book what I think the similarities are, the differences, the things that maybe are attracting people from book talk to these specific books. So anyway, got these ones. After that, we have some Octavia Butler. So I actually purchased another edition of Parable of the Sower. I have what I think is just the most beautiful edition of that book already, and I recently read it, and I can't quite say I enjoyed it because it's very bleak, but we'll just use that word. I enjoyed that one a lot. And so many of you know, I like having multiple editions of books that I really love. So I went ahead and picked up this edition because I really like this one as well. And then at some point I'd like to pick up the sequel, and then maybe I'll get the one that matches this one, but as a sequel as well. Because I liked it so much, I wanted to check out some more of her works. And I found these two. So the first one is Dawn. This is its sequel. I try not to buy sequels if I haven't read and enjoyed the first book, but I went ahead and took a chance because I really enjoyed Parable of the Sower. And the premise of this one sounds really interesting. If you've read it, definitely let me know your thoughts on it. And let me know of all of Octavia Butler's works, which one is your favorite. But this one follows, I'm going to just give a rough outline of this synopsis. So Earth was on the brink of destruction, and some aliens took some humans and put them in a coma, and then a bunch of time has passed, and one of the people that they've put into a coma is our main character, and they're waking them up now that Earth has sort of restored itself, and they're gonna have that human go back to Earth, and I think some other humans as well. So I was like, oh, that's an interesting premise. So I picked that one up, like I said, and its sequel. Excited to jump into these at some point. Like I said, I really liked Parable of the Sower, and I think that her writing is incredible. It's not particularly flowery, purple prose. It's not exactly pretty writing, but there's something about it that just flows so incredibly well. And I read Parable of the Sower in a day, even though it was really bleak, and I had to stop for a little bit at some point because I was like, wow, this is depressing. Anyway, I'm excited to see not only more of their great writing, but their great ideas. While I was at the bookstore, I happened to come across this one, Song of Blood and Stone. It seems like, I'm just going to read some of the synopsis. It says the kingdoms of Elsira and Lagrimar have been separated for centuries by the Mantle, a magical veil that has enforced a tremulous peace between the two lands, but now the Mantle is cracking and the true father, ruler of Lagrimar and the most powerful earth singer in the world, finally sees a way into Elsira to seize power. And then it follows two different main perspectives, I believe. We have Jasminda, and it says that they just want to live quietly on their farm, but then soldiers come through, and then they don't get to just live quietly on their farm. And then another character is a spy who interacts with this character. And the thing that really got me is when it says, it's silly, but all Jasminda ever wanted was to live quietly on her farm away from the prying eyes of those in the nearby town. I'm such a sucker for the character that's like, I don't want glory, I don't want fame, I don't want an adventure, I just want to live my life. There's something about those characters that just draws me in. It's not quite the reluctant chosen one or reluctant hero. It's more of just a person. I don't know. Maybe I connect with it. Maybe I'm like, I'm not extraordinary either, so I'll relate to this. I don't know what it is, but I just always feel for those characters that just want to live their life. They just want this peaceful, happy life, and then something comes and ruins it. So that's really what got me. Also, I do like the stories that have these warring lands and oftentimes characters from different places that come together. So I'm really excited about this one. There's a sequel also. So if I like this one, I can read the next one. This next one would be All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. Most of us know Sabaa Tahir from An Ember in the Ashes, and I like her writing quite a bit. This one, I think, not only is it slightly different from me, but I think it's slightly different from what she usually writes. It says a gorgeous star-crossed story about the costs of the American dream. I read this in a single day. So I've just seen such fantastic things about this book. I think it's more contemporary. And again, I don't pick up a whole lot of books like that, but I do like Sabaa Tahir's other works, her writing, and I wanted to check this one out. Next up are the second and third books in a series, and that would be for The Young Elites by Marie Lu. I read the first one in my efforts to read more of Marie Lu's works, and thus far it might be, I don't want to say it's my least favorite of her works. I'll see what I think of the sequels, but I've enjoyed everything I've read by her thus far. And I liked aspects of it, of course, quite a bit because I bought the second and the third one. But we'll see how I feel about these two. Last on the list, I got A Magic Steeped in Poison. This was one of my anticipated releases. It's been an anticipated release for a while, basically ever since I saw this cover, because I think it's one of the most breathtaking covers I've ever seen. We have been very spoiled this year with some absolutely beautiful covers, but I've just never seen one quite like this. So I think this has already become one of my favorite covers of all time. And then on top of that, I think that the premise sounds fantastic. It says, for Ning, the only thing worse than losing her mother is knowing that it's her own fault. She was the one who unknowingly brewed the poison tea that killed her mother, the poison tea that now threatens to also take her sister's shoe. The character then enters a competition that involves becoming a master of magical art of tea making. So from there, if she is a winner, she can have a wish from the princess, and she wants to use this to try and save her sister's life. And, you know, it's got court politics in it. I happen to have gotten, I believe this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. Not only does it have a fantastic cover, but there's artwork on the inside, and it's so pretty. And it's this really pretty pink with the tea on it. I love it. Unless it gets pushed back, I know the sequel is scheduled to come out this year as well. So if I like it and enjoy it, I'll get to have the sequel come out not too long after. That's it for my birthday book haul. I have acquired other books in the last few months. I just haven't done a book haul in quite some time. So there's other things, but that's what I got for my birthday. Let me know your thoughts on any of these books, whether you liked them, disliked them, you're interested in picking them up for yourself. Also, a big thank you to Book of the Month again for working with me on today's video. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you all later. Bye.